It was 2008, senior year. I took a class that I thought would be helpful for owning a business one day. Turns out, it was the genesis of me owning my own firm. That class was none other than Accounting 1. This is a story of how I went from the UIL accounting team to the owner of a CPA firm. Okay, so picture this. Little 17-year-old Logan going to different schools on Saturday mornings to compete against other students on a test over debits and credits. I got third place one time. No big deal. Yes, my accounting origin story started in high school. And what really helped me fall in love with T accounts was Miss Russell. Miss Russell, for some reason, saw potential in me and asked me to join the accounting team. Not only that, but she encouraged me and supported me as a student, which meant a lot to an insecure teenager. This is for you, Miss Russell. Oh, as I was writing this script last night in my bed, my wife was like, I didn't know you're gonna go that far back. That's right, buckle in, university time. Raider power, Raider power.
Get your guns up.
And in my case, calculators, because I was majoring in accounting, and because I already had accounting experience from high school, absolutely dominated the financial accounting class my sophomore year. My first tax class wasn't until my junior year, and up until then, I had no idea I would be interested in tax. I just knew I loved the way transactions were puzzle pieces, and when you put them together, they formed balance sheets and income statements. Nerd. It was during my first income tax class that I realized maybe I want to specialize in tax. Similar to what Miss Russell did for me with falling in love with accounting, Dr. Maselli helped me fall in love with the tax code.
I love you, taxes.
Dr. Maselli was an amazing professor because he could take a stale subject and turn it into an engaging lesson. And if you started to space out during class, he could see it in your eyes, and he would call on you to snap you back into reality. Don't get me wrong, he was a great professor, but he really made you pay attention in class and challenge you, which is why he was great. I was fortunate to have Dr. Maselli teach me throughout my undergrad and graduate studies at Tech. This is also to you, Dr. Maselli. If you were part of an accounting master program in college, you most likely went through an internship during your senior year. My internship was with a regional middle market firm. During my internship, I got to mess up every tax return I touched. But that's okay because that's what's expected of interns. Even though I worked more than I'd ever worked in my life, I had a great time because I was getting paid a lot of money. And at the time, they would cater meals if you stayed late. The internship solidified my desire to become a CPA. And if you wanted to get paid more and become a manager or partner, a CPA was required at the firm I entered at. Oh, fun story. As an intern, you were really only expected to work 55 billable hours a week. So I took that as once I hit 55, I would just leave. And I would work crazy 12 to 13 hour days. So on Friday, I would be skipping out of the office in the afternoon while everyone else was working all day and coming back on Saturday to work more to hit the hours. I bet people loved me. After the internship was grad school time. All I remember about grad school was studying in the library, and it felt like my roommates never had to study, but I'm not very smart, so that checks out. The graduate level classes were great, but thinking back, I wish I had more real life experience before I took them. After graduating with a master's in accounting, it was time to buckle down and study for the CPA exam. I decided I would start working the January after I graduated so I could solely focus on studying. Studying became my full-time job. I would start studying at 8 and stop at 5, Monday through Friday. Peter Olento and Tim Garrity were my boys during that time. And Peter still owes me a cup of coffee. That was a horrible Jersey accent. I took the FAR exam first, then audit, then BEC, and then reg last because it was about taxes and it should be the easiest, right? I was fortunate to pass all 4 exams on the first try. Thank God. And finished all the tests in October, leaving the rest of the year as time for me to do whatever I wanted. And now I realize that my last break of doing nothing for months was almost 10 years ago. Your boy needs a sabbatical or something. Jeez. It was January 2014, and I started my job post-college at the firm I interned with. I guess they liked me. I got to experience tax returns in all shapes and sizes. Hundreds of partners, partnerships, S-Corps, C-Corps, IC discs, 1120 PCs, 1040s, 1041s, but no 990s, thankfully. Most of the business tax returns I worked on earned millions of dollars and sometimes hundreds of millions. And the personal tax returns were for people that made a ton of money, which made me question why I chose being a CPA as a career choice. None of these clients are CPAs and they're making this much money. Oh, and state returns. How could I forget about state returns? My experience at this firm was great because that's where I learned 80% of my technical skills that I know today. And even though I aged 5 years over the 2 years I worked there, I would do it again. After I left the regional firm, I joined a much smaller 7-person firm where I happened to be the only male that worked there. That was a good time. At this smaller firm, I was able to actually communicate with clients without a manager or partner approval. Like the first day on the job involved calling and talking to a client, which pretty much never happened at the prior firm. So I was able to gain a lot of experience on how to handle clients. If you didn't know this, when you are in public accounting, you become somewhat of a therapist for your clients and learn how to manage their emotions. Now, I know you're expecting a refund this year, Jennifer, but listen, you see that 6-figure number on capital gains? Well, you made bank on Bitcoin, but didn't withhold any taxes. Or try to manage their emotions. I also got to experience financial statement preparation at this firm, which helped me develop my financial accounting skills. And most of the tax returns I worked on were more like the returns I work on now. After I left this firm, okay, last firm to leave, I promise. Well, kind of last firm, but that's for another video. I went to an even smaller firm, this time all dudes, but there were only 2 of them, and they were the partners. They were looking for a tax director to take over their tax book and essentially run their tax practice. They had started their CPA firm just a couple years prior and weren't feeling the tax life because their focus was on the audit side, and taxes are, taxes. So I got to come in and have authority over all of the tax systems. And if you watched my last video about starting an accounting firm, you know that I saved up all these ideas how I would run a firm, and I implemented those ideas. And turns out, some of those ideas weren't that bad. It was awesome to get the experience of running a tax firm without having to be the owner, and was probably one of the best times of my career because when you become an owner, things change. At this firm, I got to run new client meetings and price engagements, so I got sales experience for the first time, which is one of the most important skills for owning a business. Turns out, tax returns pretty much sell themselves if you aren't the most expensive option in town. After working at this firm for a couple of years, I launched my own firm with clients that I'd worked with at this previous firm. These clients provided a stepping stone to help me get to where I am now. The details of how I ended up with those clients is for another video. Again, it's another long story. If you're still watching, thank you so much. Please let me know if you have any questions about my career path in the comments below. And please watch all of my other videos so I can get monetized by the end of 2023. There's no way this is still warm. It's kind of lukewarm. All right.